Welcome back to FM Stories. We prepare to embark on season 12 of our series with Sporting. We've won the title for the last 10 seasons in a row. Can we carry on winning this title? It feels like it's been a particularly short break between seasons, what with having the Club World Cup in the middle of it. So hopefully the players are ready to go. We've got the Super Taca coming up first, and then obviously we need to get into the league and the Champions League. So without further ado, let's get straight into the action. Before we get into the action with Super Taca, what we'll do is just have a look at what we've done transfer-wise, which isn't a great deal. And then we'll have a look at the season preview and everything like that. So in terms of the incomings, we've made 2 transfers. We've signed Celcinho, a goalkeeper. We've signed Celcinho, a goalkeeper from Corinthians. Going to be a backup. Got 2 caps for Brazil. We do have the situation where Mike Maignan is 38. He's got a year left on his contract, so probably not going to be here after this season. We've got Albert, who wants to play first team football. He may be going out on loan to make sure he gets that. And then we've brought Celcinho in as the backup. And then the only other transfer we've made was for £1 for a 16-year-old defensive midfielder. Looks like he could potentially be a decent player, but the potential ability, you never know quite where that's gonna top out at. But he's been signed for £1. It's worth a punt, and he's been stuck in the under 23s just to see if he can develop. In terms of the outgoings, so we've got Jolie, who never actually played for us. We signed him on a free transfer as part of his loan deal with Marseille for last season. He went out for 20 million. We've sent a couple of players out on loan. We've also got a couple of players who've made it clear that they wanted to leave. So Emery Dalibas is one. He's gone to Juventus for at least 57 million. Siaka Kouame is gone. He went to Arsenal for 80 million. Adelson Pascual gone. He wanted to go, so he's gone to Juventus. There are a few others that have made it clear that they want to go. Goncalo Estevez is one, and Jack Arrowsmith is another, who've both made it clear that they want to leave in summer. As soon as we get an offer that reflects our valuation of them, they'll be leaving as well. And what we have done is we've brought some players up from the B side who were out on loan last season. So Bastida, Roldan, El Sahib, all sort of defensive midfielders. They can fulfill a role in there. They've all been called up. Vita Hurdy's come back from loan, so he's probably gonna become the replacement for Kouame in terms of he can play up front, and hopefully we can train him to play from the left when we don't have Mbappe as well. In terms of the pre-season odds, we are huge favourites, 5-1 on to win the title, which, I mean, we've won 10 titles in a row, you'd expect that. Porto 11-1 second favourite, Benfica 15-1 third favourite, and we now don't have the full lineup of the Media Dream 11. Mohamed Sunday of Porto, who tore us apart a bit in the Allianz Cup semi-final last season, is now in the Media Dream 11. Otherwise, the rest of the team is our team. And there we have it. That's what's happened since the Club World Cup. And now it's time to see how ready we are for action with the Super Taca against Braga. This is the side we've opted to start the Super Taca with against Braga. We do have a couple of players that have struggled a bit in pre-season. Kylian Mbappe stubbed his toe in his last game, so he's not ready to start. We've gone, and what we'll probably see a lot of this season is Goossens in the 10 behind Botic, just because Botic scored so many goals when he came in that you can't stop them both being, or can't pick a team without them both in. Vita Hurdy's playing instead of Mbappe off the left. And then the role alongside Simovic in the defensive midfield role is probably up for grabs. We've gone with Goncalo Estevez at right back, but he will almost certainly be out before the transfer window closes. Right, send the boys out and hopefully we can get off to a quickish start. Arda with a free kick. They've headed clear and then just pumped the ball long. And then we're going back at them. Alatibi to Estevez, looking for Arda on the right. Takes a lovely first touch. Back to Estevez in the box. And Roldan's shot is turned over by the keeper. Right, Albert with the long kick. It's flicked on. Botic is in the box. And really, you should be doing better than that. Right, Kamara with his head to it. Asimovic back to Kamara. Roldan, Asimovic. Plenty of time on the ball. Finds Alatibi. Asimovic wide to Arda in space. Back to Roldan. Goosens. On the edge of the box into Hurdy. We've hit the post. Right, Goncalo Estes down the right hand side. Back to Roldan. Lovely ball over the top for Botic. Keeper saves it, hits the post, but he was offside. We've got into some nice positions in that half without really being threatened by them. We just haven't had that final ball or the final shot. We just need to be a bit sharper. Corner from Arda. Nianzi with the header at the near post, but straight into the keeper's hands. And then they've gone long and it's gone straight through to Albert. Goncalo Estevez into Arda. Looking for Hurdy on the left hand side. Too much on it. Right, they've played their way out. Down the right hand side to Travosis. Into João Veloso in the box. Oh my god. Practically the first time they got in the box in the score. Just, I mean, it took a massive deflection, but Pereira to Bassioli. Felix over the top looking for Goosens. I mean, looked like he was clotheslined. Nianzu, Bassioli, Felix loses out. Bassioli gets back to get the ball. Nianzu into lane. Pereira onto João Felix. Looking for Goosens. Lovely first touch, lovely finish. But was he onside? Yes, he was. Ferreira plays it into Felix. Cuts inside. Lifts the ball forward. Lovely first touch by Goosens, and then he just pokes it past the keeper who didn't really react until the ball was in the net. And that's us level at 1-1. And there we have it. Now we go to extra time. Right, Bassioli gets back in to win it. Albert goes long. It's going to come straight back at us. And the longer the game's gone on, the more dangerous they've looked. We just pump the ball forward. It comes straight back. One touch, two touches, and then square the ball and a tap in at the near post. Right, we've changed it up formation-wise in the second half of extra time. We've gone to the 4-3-3 just to see if that makes a difference here. Into Ferreira, breaking from midfield. Keeper saves it, and the defender reacted the quickest. Right, Mbappe with the corner. Kamara at the back post. And there we are, level, 2 apiece. I mean, we are making this hard work. Right, penalties, them first. I don't know what our goalkeeper was doing, but it's 1-0 to them. Goosens stepping up first for us. Oh my god. That was horrendous. We're going to require Albert making a save at some point in this. João Felix to take our second. It's a 2-1 after 2 penalties. Almeida for them. Right, Miguel Ferreira stepping up for us. Big ask for such a young player. But sends the keeper the wrong way. And that's 3-2 after 3 penalties. Right, Roldan stepping up. Take our fourth. I mean, that penalty shootout performance basically sums up how the game went. We weren't ready for the game. We're not sharp. Not up to much speed, and the penalties just confirmed that as well. Yeah, it's a good job we don't have particularly tough games to start the league season. But we're going to need to be much, much better than we have been today. We've made it to the end of September. We've got a big game coming up in the Champions League against Juventus. On the pitch, things have gone about as well as they could have. In terms of results, at least some of the performances haven't been the best. And we've had a fairly eventful run in the transfer window. Starting with the transfer window, we signed 2 players on deadline day. We signed Andrew Alonso to come in as a backup left back because we realised rapidly that the depth we thought we had isn't there, especially if we're going to play Simovic as a central midfield, in that defensive midfield role. And then it looked as though we were going to lose Simovic on deadline day as well. So we added Iosi Plasencia, a 19-year-old Spaniard who can play in either the central midfield role if we play the 4-3-3 or in the defensive midfield role in the 4-2-3-1. Looks a really, really decent player. Cost an awful lot of money. Managed to get injured in his first training session, pulled his knee ligaments, was out for 3 weeks. He's played 1 game since then, and then he's got injured again, pulling his knee ligaments. So that's not looking the most promising. In terms of outgoings, there's been a few since we were last there with the Super Taca. So we've sold permanently Walter Bravo to Inter, 25 million. We've sold Jack Arrowsmith permanently to Dortmund, and we've sold Goncalo Estevez permanently to Inter as well. So they've picked up 2 right backs from us, which is a interesting way of looking at things. Obviously, we didn't start brilliantly with the Super Taca in terms of losing that on penalties. Since then, I mean, we've played 7 games in the league. We haven't actually conceded a goal yet. We started up with a 5-0 victory away to Rio Ave. Hammered Braga 4-0 at home. 5-0 at home against Estrella Amadora. Another 5-0 at home against AC Viseu. 4-0 at home against Pacas de Ferreira. 3-0 at home against Casapia. And 3-0 at home against Famalicão. Which means as far as the league's concerned, we've played 7, won 7, scored 29, conceded none. And we're currently 6 points clear at the top of the table. Vitória Guimarães, we're 7 points clear of Benfica, 9 points clear of Porto. And then we've played our first game in the Allianz Cup. We played a reserve team and very nearly came unstuck in it. We didn't play particularly well, but came away with a 3-2 victory, 2 goals from Vita Herdy. Got us the win and put us in pole position in the group with a further game to come in December against Boavista in the competition. And then we started the Champions League with a trip to Dortmund, playing against Jack Arrowsmith, who we'd sold to them in the summer. Got off to a decent start. They pulled a goal back after VAR gave it just before half-time. João Felix popped up with the winner. We weren't brilliant, but we were able to do enough to get the victory. And now we're looking to continue that run of form with a home game against Juventus in the Champions League. So this is the team we've picked to go into the game against Juventus. Obviously, we're coming up against one of our players that we sold in the summer, Emre Delibas. We've gone with what is our first choice back four. We've gone with Roldan alongside Simovic in the defensive midfield roles, and then otherwise, it's pretty much as you would expect of what our strongest team is. Goossens looking for Botic, it's cut out. Nianzou wins it back to Arda, goes down the outside, back to Basioli, Goossens, Arda in the box, Mbappe heads it home. I think he was onside. Botic might have been offside. Let's see this one. Goosen's into Arda. No, he was just about offside. Arda to take the corner. Nianzu at the near post. And we've taken the lead. All else fails. Go back to the regular options. Near post corner. No one on the post. Powers it past the keeper. And that's us 1-0 up at home. And there we are. Half time. Looking at the match, that's probably a deserved scoreline. But we could have grabbed another couple at least. And with the chances we've created. Right, roll down. Nianzu, Asimovic bringing it forward. Mbappe, Verdi. Back to Mbappe. Alatibi. Mbappe goes back to Benavides. Keeping the ball pretty well, but needs that final ball. Alatibi down the left-hand side. Stands up across. It comes out to Arda at the back post. Roll down. And we've gone back to the centre-back again. Simovic, Mbappe into the box. He might have got a bit lucky the way he got free from the defender. Got a lovely finish. And that's us 2-0 up, and surely that's the game safe now. And there we have it. 2-0. Pretty dominant performance. Really, it should have been much more than 2 goals, but we'll take it. We've won 2 out of 2 in the Champions League to start off. Now we just need to keep that form rolling on. And there we have it. The end of another episode. Started off not great with losing the Super Taca on penalties, but after that, can't have got any better. 7 games played in the league, 7 games won, no goals conceded. We've won our first 2 games in the Champions League, and we won the first game in the Allianz Cup as well. Now we just need to make sure we continue that form on through the rest of the season. Got a couple of big league games going up in the next episode against Victoria Guimarães, currently second, and Benfica. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.